Well, all I know is this is an old butter paddle that I used back in the 40s.
Where'd you get it?
I don't know when I bought it.
But that's what you used to make butter?
Well, I kind of worked it, to get the buttermilk out of it in a big bowl.
But that wasn't the churning part.
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
That's all I can remember that I used it for.
That was what it was basically used for.
Is that when you lived in Fort Collins?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next question. Where did these come from?
I don't remember ever buying those.
Did somebody make them for you?
No. I don't know when I got those.
Did Grandpa make them?
He might have bought them for me. I don't know. I really can't tell you about those.
Did you wear them?
Oh, yeah. I wore them all the wear in there is what I did.
Where did you wear them? In what country?
It seems to me I had them in Nevada. Whether I had them before that in California. I don't remember when I first got those. I haven't worn them for years.
Did you square dance in them?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't square dance in them. Were they something you'd use hiking? I could have hiked in them. I don't remember much about those. But I wore them a lot.
They're the new thing now, is to be in like, they call it barefoot shoes.
Are those barefoot?
Well, kinda. The Indians were the first ones that did barefoot shoes.
There's no
Sole.
Insole or anything?
no, you're quite close. Now these are stiff, but they wouldn't have been stiff originally.
No.
But you feel the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in touch with the
They're
ground.
like an Indian's.
They're like a moccasin. They are a form
I wish
of
they fit
moccasin.
me.
Yeah,
But
they are. I call
they
them a
will.
moccasin.
They strike me as being more a southern Indian type of moccasin than northern Indian.
Yeah, not very warm.
More like a Navajo.
All right.
Well, I don't know where I wore them. I remember, it vaguely seems I had them in Nevada.
No, that
That was back in the 40s.
But is that before Colorado?
Yes.
What were you doing in Nevada?
Well, we moved there from California just before the Second World War.
after the Second World War.
Huh?
It was after it started. We went to California, and Uncle Joe was on a destroyer, and the war, Pearl Harbor, broke out, and people were leaving California, the coastline, like crazy, because the bombers had come as far as Hawaii.
Yeah.
And Dad, when we left, he took a job, not on the coast, but inland in California, at they were building military installations inland on the desert in Southern California, and he took a construction job in helping to build the military base.
That was right along the Mexican border.
Yeah, and I remember these huge boulders. I mean, huge. And I played on them.
What was the town?
And we had Tex down there.
Ticks and Tex. Yeah, Tex was a
Tex.
Tex was a dog.
And snakes.
There's a picture of Sig and I on a huge boulder with Tex.
Right.
But there were ticks. And there were snakes. And I
a
have
snake
no
was
idea.
in my chicken pen down there, in my chicken coop.
And snakes were in the trees. You saw a green coral snake up in a tree.
Was a little, I think it was a coral snake. Up
red
in the
and
tree.
yellow striped little snake. And
Oh.
tarantulas.
Well, I went up to the neighbors to have her come down and shoot that snake that was in my chicken coop.
Was it in the nest?
Huh?
Was it in the nest or where was it?
Well, I had a chicken in a coop for some reason.
Oh. What
And
kind
the
of
snake
snake?
was going in there after the chicken.
What kind of snake? Rattle?
No, it wasn't a rattler. I can't remember what it was.
They were probably a bull, but I don't know.
No, it could have been a bull.
But it was
snake.
definitely
It was
desert.
kind of black. So I'm not sure what it was.
I don't either. But I don't remember that we were really close to a town.
Oh no, we weren't.
And when Mom says neighbor, that wasn't next door, because Dad always found the most isolated place, and there weren't fences and borders like are now. And
Well,
we were out in the desert.
Yeah, but this woman lived right close there.
Did she?
We could have been on her property. I don't remember. But she was there, and I didn't know how to get that snake out of that coop.
Where was Grandpa?
Working.
So he did.
What was the name of that town, the closest town?
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of the town.
I don't remember that. I remember the big rocks, the kind of scrub trees,
Yeah.
and the creeks, the sand creeks everywhere, playing and running in the sand creeks.
So there was no water in them. They
No.
were just sand.
No.
But it was
Uh,
California?
If it had rained, those things are floods.
My brother came to stay all night with us. We had to sleep 3 in a bed. I had to get up at night. They put me over next to the wall, and then Lauren, and then my brother was.
My bed was this,
Yeah. She
It's
slept
just
on
let-
the table.
just let down.
The
I don't
table.
know where Sig slept. He probably slept with me.
But what? Were you in a trailer?
Yeah, the trailer Dad had made.
Oh.
He was in his bed, but where we put it in that trailer?
I don't know.
We had it for a while back next to where we slept. We had a couch that opened up into the bed. And that's where Lauren and I slept, in that trailer.
Sig was pretty little at that stage. He would have been just a toddler. How old was I? Did I
That
start?
was before we went to Colorado.
Yeah, we worked our way. We went from there to Las Vegas. And I remember Las Vegas very well.
You lived in Vegas for a while?
Mm-hmm. And the
Well, it was
outskirts-
really Mount Whitney that was a town right next. Now that Mount Whitney is just a road in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But you were living in the trailer in all this.
The trailer that Lauren built.
Mm-hmm.
It was a trailer that Lauren had built.
Actually, in Las Vegas, Dad built, we had a lot, and he had built,
Man, she remembers. good.
he had built a kind of a little square cabin or house. And
tar paper coverage.
I don't remember that, but I remember you had landscape kind of with cactus,
Right?
and that there was a bicycle involved.
He
I
bought me
think
a
that-
bicycle.
and me a little one, and I was trying to learn to ride it.
I was trying to learn to ride too.
I can't remember Sig at that stage. Where was he? I remember I had to go to school. I started school in Missouri, and then it was Oklahoma, and then it was Texas. 1 or 2 schools in each of those states, and then it was California, and then it was Nevada, and you went to the teachers after the first term at the end of the year and said, if you need to put Carly back, keep her back a year, do so. And the teacher told you that if she kept me back, she'd have to keep 40 other kids back, because all of them that came out of California were stupid. Well, that wasn't what she said. The California schools have since, I think, really raised their standards. But at that point, you
I
were
think
really,
it's gone backwards now.
really poor compared
To
to
where?
Nevada,
Nevada.
the inland. And then from Nevada, we went to Colorado. And in LaPorte, Colorado, I was halfway through grade 2. I had been to school in all of those states.
Yeah, it's no wonder you thought she needed to be held back. How could you
Can
learn
imagine
anything?
that poor child
Yeah.
being moved.
Mom
different-
couldn't understand why I couldn't read. She said, I got good grades. Why are you getting these grades? That really helped, you know. So I showed you.
So how many schools before second grade? 6?
Started in Independence, Missouri.
In the first.
I don't know how many, but it seems to me I know there was one in Oklahoma and one in Texas, and I think there was more than one in those 2 states. But I'm not sure about that. I was pretty young that I remember this.
I can't remember whether you finished the first grade in Independence.
I think I finished the first. No. I just got started.
Did you?
I finished the first grade in Nevada. That's how fast you move me around. Because I was halfway through the second grade when we got to Colorado.
Right.
And it was, you were going to have them hold me back into the first grade in Nevada, and they wouldn't do that. They moved me on to the second
Yeah,
grade.
they said that all the students from California was in the same. I knew she wasn't ready for it.
So was there a big influx from California?
Yeah, when Pearl Harbor happened,
Construction.
construction went away from the coast, and a lot of people just left the coast.
Because they were afraid? I would be too.
Well, we moved before the war started.
Second World War.
Lauren when we knew that it was coming. My brother was already there, but he was there before the war started.
In California.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm not sure about that because Joe tried to get in the Navy and they wouldn't take him because he was flat-footed.
That's right.
It was after the war broke out, after Pearl Harbor, or maybe it was just that things were getting that way. I don't know.
Yeah, we knew there was going to be a war.
Anyway,
Yeah, I guess the war had started, but we weren't in it yet.
yeah, it started in
That's
Germany.
the way it was.
It was in Germany.
We weren't
but
in
it
the
had
war,
started.
but Lauren knew we were going to get in it. And he went to Colorado and he found a place. But he went to work first. He was working in Nevada, I think, when he decided we better move.
No, he did construction in California. We moved
Yeah,
inland.
he started down
Yeah.
by the Mexican border. That was his first construction.
And I think by then Pearl Harbor had hit.
It hadn't hit when we went to California.
Not when we went, but when we left.
He wanted to go inland to Colorado, and I am not clear on whether he went to Colorado before the war broke out. We knew there was going to be a war. That's why we were leaving.
We
moving
didn't
in.
go to Colorado.
And he worked on construction, both in California, in San Diego, and down at the border where you're thinking of that we were out in. And then we went to Nevada
and
on
then
construction.
Then we went
And
to
we
Colorado.
lived at Fort Whitney. And Carly went to a little school with a little pot-bellied stove. And she was still in the first grade. And I don't know, but when you started in Fort Collins, you were part way through the second grade.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you want to move to Colorado if the war was breaking out? What was Grandpa thinking?
Well, the deal was he wanted to move inland. And we had lived in over 40 states when he was selling magazines. Yeah. And he said, where would you like to live? And of course, I'd been in Fort Collins, and they had cherry orchards and apple orchards, and I
See,
fell in love with them.
When Dad worked in Wyoming, this goes back when I was about 4 years old
Right.
or 5. He worked in the lumber camps up in Wyoming, but they would occasionally go down into Colorado, and Fort Collins is on the northern part,
Right.
and there were cherry orchards, and Mom never forgot Fort Collins, Colorado.
It's a nice city. Still.
So I wanted to go to Fort Collins. So he went back there, and he found a place. I didn't go with him at first, but he found a realtor that lived right next to the place that was for sale, a 15-acre spot. And the realtor sold it to him, but we couldn't move in it yet because it still had a renter in it. So we lived in his filling station right next door to it.
Did
remember
you still
living in
have the
fill-
trailer?
Huh?
Did you live in the trailer then?
We lived in the filling station, and I'm not sure what happened to the trailer.
What happened to the
He
trailer?
sold the trailer that he built. He was working on part-time work, construction work during the war, you know, down in Colorado Springs. And he sold the trailer down there. I don't know whether he lived in it down there for a while because I can't remember. Whether he wasn't home every night. So he probably lived in it until he got through with that job and then sold it
Well,
down there.
until he bought that
Because he
truck.
never brought it back
and,
to Fort Collins.
and then he built a camper on the back of his truck, a very modern camper on the back of his truck.
Yeah.
And he would live in that when he was off work.
Well, he lived in that when he worked up in the mountains in the ski camp.
Panda. But that station we lived was next to that highway that I later herded cows on. And that was where my little brother came to my defense. He's 6 years younger than I was. And
He what?
He's 6 years younger than I was, so he couldn't have been but about 3 years old or less.
When we moved there?
No, when we lived in that station in
Well,
front.
that's when we, just
2 or
before
3.
we lived there. Sig was born in 40 and we were there in 42.
Yeah, but he was still little.
He was
And
only
there was-
2,
There was neighbor kids, and
maybe 2.5.
these boys were teasing me. And they said, "Carly Jean, good for nothing. Your sister's not good for anything. Carly Jean, good for..." Or no, I think they just said I wasn't good for anything.
They said Carly Jean is good for nothing.
And Sig says, "Carly Jean, good for something."
Can you remember that?
Yes, I can
Okay.
remember that. I can remember I had my bicycle, and I probably couldn't ride the thing very good, and I always hated bicycles.
I
You
don't
just
remember-
walk.
I don't remember you.
That sounds like Drake.
Walk or run, but don't fiddle with a machine.
He had a big tricycle. I thought that was yours.
I think that tricycle was in Nevada. And
Oh,
I
it
think
wa-
the bike was, somehow I was trying
Well,
to learn a bike.
My bicycle got to Colorado.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But the one with the tricycle, I've got a picture of it. With you on it and Sig on the tricycle.
Yeah, it was a big one, and he could stand on the back, and I could pedal it.
It was right in our north pasture. I've got the picture.
Okay, I want to jump ahead to you tell me the story about when you guys moved to Canada. Like, let's pick,
Well, we weren't living in that same place. We were right close to it on land adjoining where Lorne built the houses.
wait, you guys went up to Rimrock Ranch first,
Yeah,
right?
you lived at Rimrock and had all of your horses before you moved to Canada.
Right.
So then from Rimrock Ranch, how did you end up going to Canada?
Because we didn't have pasture, and we'd heard that in British Columbia we had friends that moved up there, And they said the grass was yay tall, you know, and everything.
And we were already in Alberta.
Okay.
Yeah, she was married and living in Alberta before we went to British Columbia. But the horses were starving to death over there. The snow was deep, and these weren't draft horses that would